Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. And tonight, we're going to have to dive into this Charlotte Hornets debacle. Well, falling short. Well, on struggle. Really just failing to meet expectation. Or maybe just showing us where they're really at. If you like this video, hit that like button for me. Hit subscribe. That's good for the algorithms. And smash that bell for the notifications for new videos dropping. I drop regularly. Look, there's times in life, right, where you have a lot of hopes for somebody. Let's say you're in a relationship, right, and you meet somebody, and things aren't going spectacular, but the person you're dating looks really good, right, really attractive, and you're like, you know what, I'd really like for this to work out, because damn, they like real good to look at. I mean, just real cute. Got the whole package seemingly, just beautiful. And then you get to see a little bit of who they are. Signs start to pop up, and you get a little worried. But, then all of a sudden you have a couple of good dates, and you're like, okay, they spent the night, it was nice. And you get a little excited. And then the rubber meets the road. You take them to meet your family. And all of a sudden, those flags begin to wave at you real big, real hard. They're just waving all in your face. And you know what? You got to accept. This person's got some issues. They got some things to figure out. And you got to decide, are you trying to stay in this relationship to keep riding as they figure it out? Well, if you're a Charlotte Hornets fan, that's exactly where you're at right now. You saw them all season. This team has been exciting at times. They've had spectacular moments. You've seen the lob passes from half court, from LaMelo Ball to Miles Bridges. Bridges even had some big games. LaMelo had some huge games. Won some close games. P.J. Washington has continued to develop. Terry Rozier has been, had some injuries, but he's been consistent. And you saw some flags, no real center, no real rim protection. The defense is just not there. You're not really sure who you're going to be able to rely upon in the crunch time. But, they've been exciting. After all, they made the play-in. There's some hope. And then they meet a real playoff team. They meet the Atlanta Hawks. And they get smacked. They don't just get smacked. They get mollywopped. They get dog-walked. They get exposed in a terrible way. But if you're real, it's actually kind of a beautiful way. It's actually in a way that allows you to really decide how you need to move forward. You see this squad, this team, is a team that's got some talent. They got potential. She looks good. He looks good. Maybe you have a fun time every once in a while. You go out and it's exciting. But when you start looking for substance, you start realizing it's not quite what you need it to be. This person maybe isn't quite ready to be wifey, husband material, parent material. You're not really necessarily seeing the long term with this person. And that's precisely where they're at. And if you can accept that as a Charlotte Hornet fan or somebody in the front office listening to this video, you realize that, okay, I see what we're working with and what we're trying to push to. I need to talk to this person about becoming more consistent, maybe getting their stuff together, paying bills on time, stuff like that. You need to get some defenders in here, some two-way players, some 3-and-D guys. I don't know if that's going to be Terry Rozier, but that's what you need. I don't know if that's going to be Cody Martin or even Jalen McDaniels. You need some guys who are going to be ace defenders, first team, second team, all defensive NBA type defenders. You need a real rim protector, somebody who can close off the rim and anchor your defense. Whether that's Clint Capella, whether that's, what's his name over in Washington, dude out of Arkansas. Y'all know his name. Drop it for me. Whether it's somebody like that, whether it's a Thomas Bryant who can defend the rim somewhat, but can also stretch the floor and get you some more consistent shooting to open things up. Maybe you need to focus more on development still, and develop Jones, um, who's got all the potential in the world, or a James Bouknight, right? These are guys, Kai Jones, right? These are guys who have a lot of ability and maybe need some more consistent playing time. Or maybe you even need to give somebody like a LiAngelo Ball a real opportunity to get a dead-eye three-point shooter who can also be a physical defender on the perimeter. Maybe that's what you need to start experimenting with, because that's where you're still at. You're still experimenting. You're still figuring out. You're still trying to figure out, how are you going to get to where the Atlanta Hawks are at? How are you going to become a team that can really play at a high level when it matters the most, with people you can depend upon? Now, granted, the Atlanta Hawks have struggled this season, namely because they haven't been able to knock down open shots and stay healthy, right? And they're just now kind of stumbling into the playoffs, somewhat figuring it out with a little bit of momentum, but they've still been on struggle. They've had a really tough end of the season stretch in terms of their play record, right? But it's to say that that's where you're trying to get to. That's who you're trying to become. And you need to figure out which of these guys is going to be a part of that future. Mason Plumlee, I don't think he's it. He only played about 11 and a half minutes, that's all you can really trust him with. But you look at somebody like a Miles Bridges, and even Terry Rozier had the worst plus minus of that starting five. Miles Bridges missed all 4 of his three-point attempts, got into foul trouble, right? And really wasn't who you needed him to be. And then you see somebody like a P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington, he had, I want to say, look at the stat line. He had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Probably the best defender in that starting lineup next to Mason Plumlee, right? And hit 3 of 5 from the three-point line. Now, LaMelo, he struggled. 7 of 25, right? You had Terry Rozier taking 22 shots, shooting 36%. Why wasn't P.J. Washington getting more shots? Miles Bridges, where'd you go? You only shot 11 times, right? Like, these are the questions you're going to have to answer. Maybe what they need to do is take a look at the shooting guard position. Maybe somebody like Miles Bridges might be a good trade chip for somebody like what's his name out of Cleveland, the guard out of the University of Alabama, Colin Sexton, right? Maybe that's a really intense, younger version of Terry Rozier with a higher ceiling, who's already shown he can average over 20 points a game on good efficiency. Let me know what you guys think. Who's the core moving forward? Who do they need to get in the offseason? Holla at me on Twitter, and I'm going to holla at y'all next time. Peace.